Imagine this exact scenario. It is 6:30 in the morning. The alarm just went off, the floor is freezing cold, and you are rushing through your morning routine. You walk down the hallway, step into the bathroom, and you shut the door to get just 5 minutes of absolute peace before the chaos of the day begins. But within seconds, the ritual repeats itself. You hear those rapid, familiar little paws scratching against the wood. You hear a low, anxious whine, a sharp meow, or you see a wet snout desperately trying to push its way through the tiny crack under the door. And what is the very first thing that almost every single human being says when this happens? Oh, my dog is just so unbelievably needy. My cat has serious separation anxiety. They simply will not leave me alone for a single second. The internet is absolutely flooded with funny, viral videos about this exact behavior. So-called animal experts and online trainers constantly tell you that you have failed to set boundaries. They claim you have accidentally turned your pet into a dependent, spoiled creature who is completely incapable of functioning without you holding their paw. And suddenly, right in the middle of all this noise, what do you feel? You feel a deep, heavy sense of guilt. You feel guilty for just wanting a tiny sliver of privacy after a long, exhausting week. You feel guilty because you genuinely believe your dog or your cat is suffering from terrible anxiety, panicking simply because they are in a different room. You start thinking you work too much, that you are a bad pet parent, that you are somehow traumatizing this innocent animal. But today, we are going to take that toxic, widespread lie and tear it absolutely to shreds. What your pet is doing when you lock that bathroom door has absolutely nothing to do with being needy. It has nothing to do with being spoiled, and it is certainly not a lack of boundaries. It is about pure, unadulterated biology. It is about ancient, primal instincts of blood and survival that have successfully endured through thousands of years of harsh evolution, permanently carved into their DNA. And I promise you this, once you truly understand what is actually firing inside their nervous system at that exact moment, you will never close that door with the same feeling in your heart again. To truly comprehend the mind of your dog or your cat, you must completely erase the modern world from your thoughts. Forget the fluffy living room rug, forget the heated orthopedic bed, and forget the premium grain-free kibble you feed them every single day. You need to travel back in time. Go back to the unforgiving wild, to the freezing tundra, to the brutal savanna. Out in the natural world, wild animals live under one silent, terrifying, and absolute rule: stay endlessly alert or become prey. Your sweet, loving pet, no matter how domesticated they look while snoring on your couch, still carries the completely intact tactical software of an apex predator, and, simultaneously, a vulnerable target. Do you know the exact moments when an animal in the wild is most incredibly vulnerable to a lethal attack? When they are asleep and when they are relieving themselves. Just think about the sheer logic of biology for a second. When a gray wolf or a wild feline needs to evacuate, they are forced to completely lower their natural defenses. Their physical posture changes immediately. Their center of gravity drops low to the ground. Their peripheral vision becomes severely limited. They cannot suddenly sprint and escape danger in a fraction of a millisecond. If a larger predator or a rival pack chooses to strike at that precise, delicate moment, there is no defense. It means absolute, guaranteed death. So how do wild packs and ancient feline colonies manage to survive this daily moment of extreme fragility without being completely wiped out? They develop a profound, almost military level of blind trust. They forge an unbreakable emotional and physical bond. When one single member of the pack needs to relieve themselves, the others do not just turn their backs and wander off. They strategically position themselves nearby. They stand guard. The partner scans the horizon, swiveling their ears like highly advanced radar dishes to catch the faint snap of a twig. They test the wind for the scent of approaching threats. They literally transform themselves into a living, breathing shield for the one who is exposed. Now, drag that beautiful ancient instinct right back into the hallway of your modern home. Your dog or your cat does not understand the modern concept of brick walls, security alarms, heavy deadbolts, or human privacy. To their primitive biological mind, your entire house or apartment is the den. It is the sacred hunting and resting ground of your pack. And you are not just the owner who holds the leash or opens the treats. You are the alpha. You are the vital nucleus, the absolute center of gravity for this entire family. When you step into that bathroom and shut the heavy wooden door, your pet's brain triggers massive biological alarms. They know exactly what you are about to do in there. Worse, they hear the rushing sound of the shower water, and their sharp instincts scream at them that the noise is completely masking your hearing. To them, you are now effectively blind, deaf, and trapped inside a confined space. You have isolated yourself from the safety of the pack. You are entirely without your protective shield. That desperate, frantic scratching you hear? That is not a temper tantrum for attention. That high-pitched whine? That is not them being spoiled. It is the visceral, terrifying desperation of a loyal animal who believes you are in mortal danger and who is fully prepared to break down a solid door to place their own body in the line of fire for you. Just notice one incredible, mind-blowing detail. If you leave the door cracked open and actually allow them inside, what is the very first thing they do? The vast majority will not beg for pets or look for cuddles. They confidently walk in, do a quick tactical lap to visually map the perimeter, and then they sit down. But they do not sit facing you. They sit with their back to you, staring intensely at the door or the dark hallway. Do you know why? Because they are actively covering your blind spot. They are silently telling your subconscious, you can lower your guard now. I have taken the watch. If any threat tries to come through that door to hurt you, they will have to get through me first. Stop whatever you are doing and just let the devastating weight of that reality sink in. A tiny animal, a creature that is terrified of the vacuum cleaner, that hides under the couch during thunderstorms, that completely depends on you for their basic survival. In the exact fraction of a second when their brain deduces that you are the one in danger, their instinct is not to run and hide. Their biological response is to risk their own life to be your physical barrier. And what do we, as busy, stressed out humans, usually do? We scold them. We gently nudge them out with our foot, letting out an annoyed sigh, muttering, "Get out of here, leave me alone for 5 minutes." Every single time you push them away in that moment, you are unknowingly rejecting the absolute deepest proof of love and sacrifice that their biology has to offer. You are telling your personal loyal bodyguard that their ultimate devotion is just a nuisance. Your pet is not invading your personal space. They are fiercely guarding your survival. Because to them, you are not just a human. You are the only thing in this world worth dying for. But if you truly think that standing guard by the bathroom door is the ultimate final proof of your pet's unbreakable biological love, you need to brace yourself. Because you haven't seen anything yet. The truest, most profound signal, the definitive proof that your furry companion has completely deactivated their core survival instincts and placed their entire soul right into your hands, does not happen while the sun is up. It happens in the dead silence of the night, when the lights finally go out and you mistakenly believe they are turning their back on you out of pure, cold indifference. Night falls. The house settles into a heavy quiet, and you crawl into bed, completely drained from the weight of the day. A moment later, you feel the familiar dip of the mattress. Your pet jumps up. They circle around the sheets a few times, knead the soft blankets, let out a long, comforting sigh. And right at the exact second they are about to drift off to sleep, they turn their back to you. or even worse, they march all the way to the absolute opposite end of the bed, as far away from your warm embrace as physically possible, pointing their tail right at your face. What is the very first thought that flashes through the mind of almost every pet owner when this happens? Wow, how incredibly ungrateful. I give them the best life possible, and they are just cold, an arrogant, independent roommate who simply does not care about me. If you have a cat, this feeling is even worse because the internet has aggressively trained you to believe that your feline merely tolerates your breathing because you provide the food. But behavioral science has just uncovered the hidden truth behind this bedtime routine, and it will absolutely shatter your ego, only to put it back together with tears in your eyes. To grasp the sheer beauty of this, you have to remember the rule of the predator. In the wild, falling asleep is a terrifying biological gamble. It is a sensory deprivation tank. An animal with closed eyes is deaf to subtle rustling leaves and blind to approaching shadows. In the brutal reality of the food chain, voluntarily turning your back to another living creature is the equivalent of offering up your own throat. It is the ultimate, fatal blind spot. A wild animal never, under any circumstances, gives its back to something it does not inherently trust with its own beating heart. So, understand the massive scale of what is taking place on your bed right now. When your dog or your cat turns their back to your face, they are not ignoring you. They are executing a profound, calculated biological strategy. They scan the bedroom door, the only pathway where enemies could potentially strike from, and they deliberately chose to point their eyes, their ears, and their primary weapons directly toward the danger. And in doing so, they willingly left their most vulnerable, defenseless blind spot completely exposed to you. Why do they do this? Because their brain is currently flooded with a massive, intoxicating surge of oxytocin, the neurochemical hormone of pure love and unbreakable bonding. Their nervous system has registered your scent as absolute sanctuary. They do not need to keep a watchful eye on you. They know on a deep ancestral level that you would never harm them from behind. They are actively securing the perimeter so the pack can rest. And what if they sleep with their belly completely exposed, legs sprawled in the air? That is the absolute pinnacle of biological submission. The soft abdomen exposes all of their vital organs to a single fatal strike. An animal only ever sleeps belly up when their primitive brain successfully declares, "I am in the safest fortress on planet Earth, and my human is my impenetrable armor." They are not cold, they are not distant. Their internal survival engine can only be fully, completely switched off, because you are lying right there. They only experience true, uninterrupted peace because the gentle rhythm of your breathing beside them tells their ancient instincts that the world is perfectly safe. And this brings us to the hardest, heaviest part of all, the guilt. I know exactly what you feel. I know exactly what breaks your heart. When your alarm goes off on a Tuesday morning, you put on your shoes, you grab your car keys, and you glance back at the hallway. And right there, sitting patiently by the doorway, are those big, innocent, confused eyes staring back at you, completely unable to understand why their beloved pack is suddenly separating. And you walk out. You lock the door, carrying a giant, suffocating lump in your throat. You constantly blame yourself. You tell yourself you do not have enough free time for them. You think you should play with them more, take them to the park more often, be a more present parent. You look at your stressful, chaotic human routine and you genuinely feel like you are failing them. You suffer deeply because you cannot just sit down and explain using human logic that you have to go to work to afford their premium food, to pay for their expensive vet visits, and to ensure the roof over both of your heads stays exactly where it is. You feel like their tragically short life is slipping through your fingers too fast, and you are missing the best parts. But I need you to listen to me very, very closely right now. For your beautiful animal, time does not flow with the same heavy, cruel, anxiety-inducing burden that it does for you. They do not possess the human burden of counting hours, dreading Mondays, or harboring accumulated resentments. Their brain does not sit in the dark living room spinning complex, sad theories about your sudden abandonment. Their pure minds live entirely in the eternal present. And in their present moment, there is only one absolute, undeniable truth that matters: the return. When your key finally slides into that lock at the end of a long, exhausting day, the entire universe of your pet, which had been essentially paused for hours, vigorously bursts back to life. That sudden, beautiful explosion of joy, the frantic jumping, the tail wagging so hard their entire body physically shakes, the high-pitched cries, the loud, rumbling purrs of welcome. That is not just a casual celebration that you arrived. It is the overwhelming biological relief of the entire pack being reunited. It is the physical, undeniable proof that for them, it does not matter where you were for the last 8 or 10 hours. All that matters is that you came back to the den. They forgive you. Every single time, every single day. They do not know what holding a grudge means. They do not understand human resentment. The only thing that biology, nature, and evolution ever taught them to do was to love their owner in a pure, violently unconditional way that we humans spent an entire lifetime trying to learn, and so often fail at. Yes, their beautiful lives are unfairly short. They live for 10, 15, maybe 18 years if we are incredibly blessed by the universe. It is just a tiny, fleeting fraction of your own long human timeline. But I need you to promise me you will always remember this one crucial fact. You will have other houses in your long lifetime. You will have other jobs, other friends, other relationships, and other daily routines. But for them, you are their entire lifetime. From the very first magical moment you carried them through that front door until the inevitable, heartbreaking day when their tiny, loyal heart beats for the very last time, you were their God. You were their ultimate shield. You were their pack. You were their home. So, the next time your pet follows you into the bathroom and stands firm guard by the door, or the next time they turn their back to you on the bed and let out a heavy sigh before falling into a deep sleep, I want you to completely banish that guilt from your heart. Let it go entirely. Just look at them, take a deep breath, and understand what science has already proven to be beautifully true. You did not fail them. You are their entire world. And they would do it all, absolutely everything, all over again, just to spend one more day by your side. Before you go give them the biggest hug of their life, I want you to drop a comment down below right now. Let's make this a space for us. How old is your four-legged angel? And what is the weirdest, most protective thing they do around the house? Share your story with us. Now, go on. They are waiting for you.